Greetings, listeners. It's your Destiny Pusher, Mrs. Cynthia Williams-Bey, and it's time to push through on this Fighting Friday so you can be restored and sprung forth into your destiny. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Williams-Bey Radio Show here on 101.3 Rejoice FM 990 AM. We are streaming live on Facebook, guys, so please make sure that you tune in. We are streaming live at Bay Radio Show Facebook page and also Rejoice 101.3 Facebook page. You can even catch us live on YouTube. We're streaming, and also on Spotify. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button and subscribe to us. But I am just so excited to be with you guys again on this Friday. Yes, I don't know about you guys, but I had an amazing week. I pray you guys did as well. But please make sure that you share. Also, let me know where you're tuning in from. All right. But I am really excited about today's show because I get to let you guys in on, a different side of me. I get to see a different side and hear some voices that are really near and dear to me. All right. So without further ado, I actually would like to bring on my special guests, and they are my directors and administrators of my childcare facility, Heaven Sent Childcare, representing. Yeah, so without further ado, I would like you guys to welcome Miss Kia Batson and Miss Natalie Desmore. How are you ladies doing?
I'm doing good. It is a wonderful.
Yes.
It's wonderful over here.
Yes, wonderful. So you guys hear the kiddos in the background, because guess what? They are working. They are working. So yes, I wanted to bring you ladies on to the show today because we are in what they call the Great Resignation. And with just the state of the economy and just the pandemic and just going through so many transitions, I really haven't heard the voices of the actual laborers, those that are actually in the workplace, just making the world continue to go. Like, you ladies, first off, I just want to just say how grateful I am for you, how honored I am that you guys continue to come in day after day. You ladies continue to just be a support system for the families and the community and love on the babies of Heaven Sent, because without you guys, there is no Heaven Sent, right? You guys just continue to just push this vision forward, and I'm just so appreciative. But I just wanted to, have y'all voices heard, so that way individuals can actually see some of the behind the scenes things that we deal with, not with just me as a owner, because there's a different set of obstacles that I deal with, as an owner. But when it comes to the day-to-day operations in a childcare facility, I want you guys to be able to just share some of the obstacles and things that you ladies have been facing, not with just Heaven Sent, but just overall, because it's a major issue just dynamically across the state. It's not a one business issue, right? So can you just share a little bit? We'll start off with Miss Natalie. Can you just kind of share a little bit about some of the obstacles that you have been facing, as a director in a childcare facility at this time?
Good morning, everyone. I would just like to say that the biggest obstacle for me coming back to be around people. I used to work from home for a whole year, but to actually start off with Miss Cindy last summer, I had to really focus on not being isolated anymore. And then I had to focus on having the proper attitude to come into work to deal with everything that the individuals and even the children were going through. So over the months, I've had to really, really press and read my word or have some type of inspirational song or something to read, because if there's a negative environment, or you have negative people who might be going through and everything is, people may be complaining because everything is so different. Even with the parents, somebody has to be a beacon of light to not everybody catch on fire and be in that mode. And I think that's really important as to how anybody's work environment can prosper during this rough time of transition. I think I've done, and even the staff here, I think we've done really well with trying to talk about things outside of work, even with the parents, encouraging them to, if you need to talk to somebody, like, it's great to be available. And even if we don't have the solution, we can even come to, you, Miss Cindy, as you have a lot of outreaches and know a lot of people. So I think just keeping in contact and trying to stay positive has been a thing that can make the work environment better as people are coming back outside to go to work.
Wow.
I think, the more social, the more, we take our time with being social with everyone, I think we can try to get back into, a rhythm.
Yes.
Because being socially isolated, anxiety comes. Your workplace is, that flow has been disruptive, as well as your family routine. So all of that plays a part.
Wow.
That's really good. And I'm glad you said that, because we were isolated pretty much for almost 2 years. So now people are trying to transition back to the workplace. And when you're in the household, right, and we don't know the dynamics of people's families, and I know that the more time you spend with individuals, right, things can kind of get hectic, if there's people dealing with abuse or anything like that. And now they're trying to transition. People have went through divorces as a result of being in the house together. Things were just highlighted. Issues that we were avoiding came to the surface. So I know that can really, really, really be hard, but it just seems like you're saying that regardless of what we go through personally, or what people are going through personally as educators, right? As humans, right? This goes beyond even just being a Christian, but as a human thing is to still be a beacon of light, to extend grace and mercy, because you just never know what someone is going through behind the scenes, right? Yes. And and again, I just thank you ladies so much, because I know with yourself, Miss Nat, you really go above and beyond to really get beyond the surface. So I know a lot of times when parents come in and they may be frustrated, everyone isn't always comfortable just putting their business on blast or just saying, okay, this is what's happening, right? Because of a lack of trust, when it comes to maybe in the past confiding in someone, and those individuals not really holding that close to their heart and making it a topic of conversation, right? So people are guarded, right? Because they've went through hurt, they went through betrayal, they went through trying to confide in individuals and organizations just for their weaknesses to be exposed, right? Without their knowing, right? So I just appreciate that you give parents that comfortability to actually come to you, even the staff. And that's one thing that I myself admire about you, because that's how I am, where I can, have anyone come to me, talk to me, and whatever you say to me is going to be safe. So to be able to have a staff, someone of your caliber, to really be able to allow parents to really pour out without it being exposed, and you really keeping it safe. I really appreciate that, and that is definitely needed. So, Kia, I wanted to kind of get your take on things as well when it comes to how things have been with the transition, and some of the obstacles that we're facing. Not just us as a child care, but a lot of employers are struggling right now due to the Great Resignation, because people are simply, overwhelmed with life, and then coming into work and people not really knowing how to pivot and separate their work life from their home life. So a lot of issues are being brought into the workplace, creating environments that wasn't there before, prior to the pandemic. So can you just share a little with the audience on your take with everything? Okay, wait a minute. You're on mute, so let's get you off. All right, there you go, Miss Kia Batson.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Yes, when I go out there in the public eye, the stores and stuff, I see a lot of people. There's not a lot of employees in the stores. It's like you can't ask people where certain things is, because some are on one register, one is behind the cabinet, behind the walls of the facility, getting stuff from the back. And it's hard because I have to look for stuff on my own before I can even ask anybody where stuff is at. And if I don't find it, then I try and get somebody to help me with that. But it's hard. It's hard everywhere you go. The whole states of the United States are short on employees. And I also seen like on the news where people getting people off the street just to come in and help them in the restaurant. So and it's hard on everybody, and it's like it's hard everywhere you go, because there's jobs out there, but it's just hard to get in sometimes because you have to have the experience, and if you don't have the experience, they accept that.
Wow. Yeah, I went to a local store a few weeks ago, and I saw the line was like really long, and I went up to the cashier and I was like, are you the only one here? And she said yes. And my heart like really sunk for her, because for me, I know how to extend that mercy because I've been on both sides, and being an employer, I know some of the obstacles that employers are facing. So I was able to give her grace because she literally was the only one in the store. And one, I don't think that's safe for it to be one employee in any establishment. There should always be at least two individuals. However, I still was able to grant that grace because as a business owner and a CEO, I know what that looks like. I know what it looks like and what people are really facing and dealing when it comes to staff. However, there's a whole other side and set of individuals that don't know that other side. So we're opening up our employees for abuse, for complaints and just mistreatment, because when customers are coming in the store, there are some customers that are patient and they understand, but then there's another set of customers that don't care. And it's really not the employee's fault. It really isn't even an employer's fault, because there really is a shortage, when it comes to staff and quality staff. And I'm glad that you brought that up, Kia, even in regards to like the experience. Like I've really heard and saw a post floating around on LinkedIn where people, and I'm talking about individuals that have degrees, that have years of experience, who were put through 4 and 6 interviews and still not get the job. And my heart like really sunk, because I'm like, well, what about the demographic of individuals that just have a high school diploma? What about the demographic of individuals that didn't graduate? They may have a GED or they may not have a GED. Like, what do we do with those individuals, right? So I'm just glad you brought that up, because as an employer, I beg and say to employers all over that sometimes titles and credentials doesn't always equate to quality. I myself have had individuals that have come in and they qualified on paper, but when I put them in the classroom, it just wasn't good. They had all the school smarts, but when it came to the quality of them taking care of the kids, when it came to the quality of the communication with the co-workers and problem solving and you know, just navigating transitions and things like that, they just didn't have it. They didn't have the patience for the kids. They just didn't have the love. And I was just so confused that, you know, you can really get individuals that went to school for years for something, and then when you put them in the mix of that thing, they're not good at it, right? And then, you know, as you ladies know, we have a new administrator assistant that has come in to the center, and I have to shout her out, Miss Shantae Lane, because she came in and she didn't necessarily have the background for childcare. She didn't necessarily have all the credentials and things like that. But when I say she is a great employee, she is a great co-worker. I mean, just really great at what she does in regards to execution. She has the skill set. She has the thought process. You know, and I know that makes the job a lot easier for you ladies, right, Kia and Nat? It makes it so much easier when you have individuals that are really passionate about what they do, right?
Right, that's true.
Yes. So, what is one of the main obstacles that you feel that employees are facing, and what do you feel we as employers, not just myself, because I know I speak to you ladies often, so there's a lot of things that I've already put in place, but there may be a CEO that may be tuned in, that may have not, you know, put things in perspective or put different protocols and things in place. Like, what do you feel employers can do to make the work environment better at this time?
You can talk with nieces, sisters, or whatever. It's all
Say that again, Nat.
thinking like some of the employees kind of feel like, how can I put it? It's like they need you guys to be present. Like really hands-on is what I'm seeing more of during this time. As like in before, you know, a lot of places we're not used to seeing whoever the owner was, or, you know, CEO or whatever. And you put people in place for that. But like now it's like they just want more hands-on from those who is signing the paycheck.
Yes.
And because let's say if you're giving us the edict to the go ahead to handle a situation or to approve a thing, it's like they still need to hear from you guys personally. I don't know why that is, but that's just what a lot of I've experienced in the conversation that I've had with that I've had with, you know, employees from all different sets of, you know, from working in the warehouse to being a school teacher, counselor. You know, it's almost like they don't trust sometimes who you guys have put in charge for whatever reason.
Wow.
That's what I'm experiencing, or have heard a lot, which I thought was kind of new. That's kind of new for me.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Wow, that's really good, Nat, and I'm glad that you said that, because I definitely feel where you're coming from, and I really don't know. Well, why do you think that is compared to post-COVID, like prior to, you know, COVID happened and the pandemic? Like, why do you think people now are wanting to be more connected to like the CEOs, or want to see them more or hear more from them? Why do you think that is?
Well, I know my transition from my last place of employment before I came to you, it was maybe a year and a half of having them as well as whoever she put, you know, to be for us. We were all always on Zoom like for a whole year. So I don't know if that has been the way with other people, how they handle their Zoom calls, but it's almost like now that you are no longer there, the detachment, or even if you have assured that the people that you put in place, you have assured, you know, they've even heard, you know, I'm just going to use you for an example. They've heard you get on management to, you know, so that we can be great leaders and be an example, and they still want to see you.
Yeah.
So I don't know what place that comes from. I don't know what place that comes from, but it's almost like a babe again. It's like you have to assure them that it's okay. You know, we're still following the same path. We still have the same goals. You know, things are gonna be different because of the pandemic, but it's still, you know, it's the same.
And just for
the
me,
goal is
and I think it may, you know, and I would love to hear your feedback. The audience members, what she is saying is really valuable, and I would love to hear feedback from the audience. So what she's essentially saying is, one thing that she's noticed, you know, as a manager, is that a lot of the employees prior to COVID, they were comfortable and okay with just having management, the head person, the overseer of that organization, without necessarily having to have contact with the CEO or things like that. But she's noticing, like, now that we deal with the pandemic and just went through so much, people are now wanting to actually see and hear from the CEO more. Why do you guys think that is? I want to hear your feedback in the comments. And if it's you and that's how you feel, please share in the comments, because that is something that we CEOs need to hear, right? Because for myself, I have always been very hands-on, right, in my establishment. However, there's a season where God shifts you when he's trying to get you to transition, right? And expand, so that way you are able to provide more services for more families, especially with the hours that we do. There's definitely expansion that's happening, for heaven's sake, because more parents need that care from the 6 a.m. to 12 midnight and that support, right? However, with expansions come lack of accessibility. So the only thing I can use is like a Jeff Bezos, right? Or a CEO of like a franchise, like, you know, McDonald's or something like that. And I think we really have to, as CEOs, start becoming more creative in this time, so that way those that work for us feel more close to us, if that makes sense. they feel more secure. And I think it may be fear, fear, because there's so many businesses that have shut down, and I've literally heard of stories where, even with some daycares where staff and parents showed up and the doors were just closed without no warning or anything like that. So I definitely feel that, is some type of insecurity or trust. People just want to feel secure. People just want to feel that you care for them. People just want to hear your voice. So that is something that I definitely will, make sure that I'm implementing, so that way the staff, as I grow, they don't feel so far from me, because I know the higher you go, the less accessible. Because if I have 50 childcare facilities, right, which that's the goal, 50 states, come on, God, right, 52 states rather, it is going to be hard to be close to everyone when you have an establishment that big. But we definitely have to be able to become creative, so that way people still feel connected to us. Thank you so much, Natalie, for just sharing that. But audience, I definitely want to hear your feedback on that. Definitely want to hear your feedback on that. So listen, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk more with Natalie and Kia. And I definitely want to hear Kia's perspective, because Kia has been working for me for over 6 years. She has had her boots on the ground with me since I opened the second facility over in Eastern Henrico. So I definitely want to hear her feedback in that regard. But again, you guys are listening to the Williams-Bey Radio Show here on 101.3 Rejoice FM 990 AM, and we'll be right back after this quick break.
Let's go.
Hello, Rejoice listeners. This is Cynthia Williams-Bey of the Williams-Bey Radio Show. Be sure to tune in with me every Friday at 12 noon here on Rejoice 101.3, because it's Frightened Fridays and it's time for you to push through so God can restore you and spring you forth into your destiny.
The RVA Awards features the community's choice of the most dedicated professionals in music, media, and community leadership. The ceremony will feature guest speakers, star performances, and dedications to the Pavemakers and Roses in Concrete honorees who have served the Richmond, Virginia community over the last 10 to 20 years. The RVA Awards Show is held annually in honor of our local businesses, musicians, entertainers, other creatives, and community leaders. This is always a red carpet, black tie affair, so please come dressed to impress. The RVA Awards will be held on Saturday, October 22nd, 2022 at 7 p.m. sharp at the Hippodrome Theater, 528 North 2nd Street, Richmond, Virginia 23219. For more information or to get your tickets, visit rvaawardshow.net.
Hey guys, it's Cara Presley, America's favorite career cheerleader, and you are tuned into the Williams-Bey Radio Show on Rejoice 101.3.
Dark days, so I know it's turning
separated places. Sick and tired of have to struggle with my back against the wall. Standing strong on my 10 toes, I can't stand another fall. Got 4 little kids that need me, so I know I gotta change. Responsibility make it harder, so I'm trapped in the game. Contemplating on tomorrow, steady blowing on that weed. Relieving stress, so I stay high, cause this stress I don't need. Situations be so messed up, I'm close to the edge. I wonder how my folk would take it if I ended up dead. Trying to hold on to my sanity, I'm tempted to click. Taking chances in the dope house, getting all I can get. I asked the question, why the hell I'm guilty, messed up car. Curse from birth, put on this earth to live life hard. But I know it's a chance for me, it's got to be, I'm still alive. I'ma keep on holding on and pray I'm blessed, steady rise, you feel me?
It won't always be like this. It's turning around. It won't always be like this. It's turning around. It won't always be like this. It's turning around. It won't always be like this. It's turning around for me.
I pray for better days. Y'all don't understand that I wanted to give up battling with suicide thoughts. The pressure took over my mind, now I'm racing to find out, Lord, where do I go? Situations taking the best of me. How further can you hear me? Give me direction to see clearly.
It won't always be like this. It's turning around. It won't always be like this. It's turning around. It won't always be like this. It's turning around. It won't always be like this. It's turning around for me. Better days. With my mind is better, and my heart is better. With my family is better, on the road is better. I know better. Better days are coming. Yeah, yeah.
Said it won't.
Always, yeah.
Said it won't.
Hello and welcome back to the Williams-Bey Radio Show here on 101.3 Rejoice FM 990 AM. Thank you guys again so much just for tuning in to this great interview. Again, please make sure that you share this broadcast, tag a friend, let us know where you're tuning in from, okay? But please make sure that if you find any value or anything in regards to the work that we're doing, just to continue to bring you great content, testimonies, to just help propel you into your destiny and help you with strategy from business to family, faith, or anything like that, please consider sowing a seed into the show. You can do that via Cash App, $ Williams-Bey Radio Show. Again, that is $ Williams-Bey Radio Show. But just again, thank you so much. You can also advertise if you have any upcoming events or anything like that. We are looking for advertisers. You can advertise your products, your events, or anything that you feel could be valuable to our audience. All right. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump back into this great interview with my staff, my team of Heaven Sent Childcare. Yes, Heaven Sent Childcare. Miss Kia Batson and Miss Natalie Desmore. They are the heartbeats of my center. They do an amazing job with just operating and running it. So that way I'm able to work on the business. So without further ado, let's hear from Miss Kia Batson in regards to just the work environment and just some of the obstacles that we have been facing in the early childhood education industry. So Kia, can you just share a little bit with the audience about some of the like the obstacles and things like that you have seen us being faced with, and why you feel a lot of employees are wanting to be more connected to the actual owners and hear more from the owners, and feel more connected to us compared to prior to the pandemic?
Yes. I have seen from what I have seen that employees coming in, they don't want to, come to work because they call out sick from time to time, and then it's hard for us, for the people who are here at work, and it's like when we get short staffed, it's like it's impossible to work with all the kids all in one room, because we work with like different ages and the groups, and it's hard for us to teach the kids when we have kids who are 2 and 3 or 3 and 4 or 4 and 5 year olds. So it's kind of hard for us to get into the settlement of the kids who need to be in the actual one class with the ages of the group. And when the employees come in late, that's another thing. It slows the process, and if they're coming in late, calling out sick, and or just calling out sick for at the last minute, and that really it's very upsetting, because it's hard on us. We're overwhelmed. Some people don't know what group to teach them and stuff like that.
Wow. Yeah, I can definitely imagine how that is, where you're really dedicated to your job, and we're already dealing with having just enough. So it's like when someone calls out at the last minute, when people bring their issues into the workplace, it just makes the dynamic so much harder, because as early childhood educators, we're already dealing with the trauma and the things for the children. And now, after the pandemic, not only do we have to deal with the trauma, the issues with the children that we care for, but now it's the co-workers. The co-workers are dealing with issues from home. The co-workers are dealing with some type of trauma that's affecting their work life. And when those things are being brought into the workspace, it makes it so much harder for the other employees, right? So I'm just glad that you shared that. I'm so glad that you shared that aspect. So when it comes to employers, well, first, when it comes to employees, what is it that you want to say to other laborers? Like, what can they do as employees to make the work environment more healthier for their coworkers? What can employees do for each other?
They can eat the right foods, if they take vitamins and something like that to supplement, and boost your immune system. That way you won't get sick so much. Because even though with the pandemic and stuff like that, I have tested positive for the longest time, and I had never had COVID ever. I know people who died from it. I know people who got sick from it. But to me, I think the COVID ain't nothing but a big flu or a big cold or something like that. If you know how to take care of your body, your inside, you won't get sick as much.
Yeah, so you're pretty much saying, as an employee, what you can do to make the work environment better, so that way you're not missing work, you're not calling out as much, putting a burden on your fellow staff members, is to take some proactive measures, is essentially what she's saying. Take proactive measures to try to take care of your body, by way of exercising, by way of taking vitamins, by way of making sure you're getting your physicals, eating right. And I shall add, as a mouthpiece of God, is spiritually as well. Because I believe a lot of things that people are dealing with right now goes beyond just the natural perspective in regards to eating. Not only do you want to make sure you're taking care of your body naturally and eating good naturally, but you want to make sure that you're eating well spiritually. Like what are you feeding your body? What are you feeding your mind? What are you feeding your spirit? You know, are you in your word? You know, are you constantly looking at these reality TV television shows that's like full of violence? Are you putting things in your eye gates and your ear gates that can cause you to be sick? Because, you know, when it comes to sickness, stress can cause sickness, worry can cause sickness, anxiety can cause sickness. So if you don't know how to pivot and how to have a healthy outlet, you will find yourself becoming sick because you're so stressed out, you know. So I would say you can't afford to not take care of your body in this season, because as you heard Miss Kia Batson said, it does make the work environment so much more, you know, it can make it toxic. You know, I don't believe, you know, a business is toxic. I believe a body of people are toxic, you know, because we make up the environment. People make up the environment. People make up a church. People make up an organization. So if there's any type of toxicity, if there's any type of stress, it really isn't a job. It's really the individuals. So I would definitely, you know, say to just take care of yourself. Even therapy. Make sure you're getting some type of therapy, so that way you're not bringing your burdens to the workplace, because people have a lot going on. And especially in the childcare industry, we have to take care of the children in care. So it does create a burden where we have to listen to the cares of the children and to try to decipher what it is that they're going through. And now we have a whole grown adult that we have to deal with that's bringing their issues into the workplace. And now we're trying to decipher between that. We're trying to counsel them, you know, and that can be overwhelming because people just want to work. Right? It's great if you develop friends, but again, everybody is not gifted in the area of consulting and counseling, right? Everybody doesn't want to know what's happening in your home. Everybody doesn't want to be that person where you come and lay those things on them, right? So yeah, I would definitely say that. And just for myself, one of the things that I am doing and I did do prior to the pandemic is I overstaff. Right? It has been a lot harder now after the pandemic because, again, like it is a shortage. Like it really is a shortage. And especially when it comes to the childcare industry and the school industry, I think people are just tired of dealing with kids that have trauma or kids that are not really properly groomed at home, right? And all the burden is being placed on the educator. So I think as a community, if we do a better job at home with our children, then it won't be such a burden, and you'll see more people wanting to be teachers. You'll see more people wanting to be early childhood educators, because again, there's individuals that love teaching, but then they may not be good at the other stuff, right? And that's okay. So we definitely want to make sure that we're doing the work at home, right? That comes with our children, that comes with our family, that comes with our own mental health and things like that. So any other providers that are actually tuned in, any other CEOs that are tuned in when it comes to your establishments, yes, try to overstaff. It has been hard, but I'm not giving up. You know, I'm going to continue to try to get back to how it was. I know we can't put, you know, old wineskin to new wineskin, so it's definitely some different techniques we have to use, and we have to definitely get more creative. But if there's any way that we can add any type of support. So one thing that I've done is I have a sister that has a business, right? And things were kind of slow. So I contracted her as a vendor to actually come in and pick up some of the slack. So, you know, in between her other clients, she does come in, she makes her own schedule. It's helping my business and is also helping her. I contracted her out to actually do cleaning and some custodial things and cooking to kind of relieve some stress from my staff, So that's another thing you could do is, reach out to another business owner that's going through a slow season, right? They're going through a slow season. You can contract them out as a vendor to come in and work for your establishment, and that'll actually help alleviate some of the burden and the stress from your employees. That's something that I'm doing. That's something that you should do if you're an employee. Yes, ladies. So, thank you so much. Is there anything else, Natalie, that you may want to say or kind of bring to light or share in regards to just the work environment, being an early childhood educator, like during this time, when so many centers have shut down? I know that we have a waiting list of over 200 individuals that, because it's definitely a shortage in the state of Virginia. So is there any, last comments or thoughts that you want to leave with the audience, Ms. Nat?
I just would like to say, if your business, if you are inviting families into your space, be very loving and energetic about it. Allow them to be excited about, first of all, them coming as well as bringing their child there. And then I also would like to encourage all of us, be it daycare providers or if you're a school teacher, counselor, or whatever, always come prepared. Like, always know what you're going to do that week or the next day. But kids are very energetic, and they don't have time to sit around and wait for you to cut out a project. They ready to go. So because, we want to train them to go, we also need to be prepared and just know what the next plan is. And always be ready if something, may not happen, like, the weather is bad and, you may have or take tornado warning. Just be on top of all of that so everybody's on one accord, as the weather is, we want to the next season or whatever. Just want to encourage everyone to have a great rest of the year. And it has been my pleasure being on this show.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, Miss Nat. Thank you so much. And I pray it's more opportunities for your voices to be heard, not just on my platform, but other platforms. And I just pray that, other platforms will actually go out and hear from not just the business owners, but those who are behind the business, those that give our businesses the heartbeat and have them operating, because we can't do this without you guys. I definitely couldn't do this without you ladies. And I just appreciate you just for, your dedication, your hard work, stepping in and just really handling things, especially, during my and my children's time of grief, right? You guys really stood in the gap and really, kept the business going and handled some things, So I really appreciate that. Kia, is there anything that you want to leave with the audience? Anything that you want to share with them? Any encouraging words for employees and employers, parents?
Care themselves, drink a whole lot of water, and just, love on one another, and just appreciate, one another, and ask, have the parents ask, how the teachers are doing, with the everyday life going on with their kids, because we gotta take care of them. We're like their mothers here, mothers and fathers and nurses and doctors and all the the kids just keep coming up to me asking me for something. That's why I had to stop. Just love them, love one another, just keep the peace, Just put your cup on the table. Go put your cup on the table.
Yes, our baby.
And just, just trust God, He's gonna guide you, where your next step is, and just be yourself.
Yes.
And just hope we just hopefully get out of this pandemic, because I'm tired of it.
Yes, that is really, really good. I love that. I love it. Well, thank you, ladies, so much, so much for coming on to the show. And again, I appreciate you. If nobody has told you guys, I'm telling you on behalf of the parents, I'm telling you on behalf of the state, I'm telling you on behalf of every childcare owner that you guys are appreciated, because like you said, you know, when it comes to dealing with children, especially in our field, it's more than just being a child care provider and just, you know, we're being a therapist, we're being nurses, you know, we're being like a second mom, right? We're taking care of these children as if they're our own. So yes, I want to say I appreciate you, ladies. I want to say I appreciate every teacher and early childhood educator, worker that is out here continuing to show up, continuing to allow our centers to run day in and day out, because so many facilities have shut down. We were already dealing with a pandemic in the childcare industry where there was a major shortage, and now it's like, come on, we're in a triage room. Like, we really need support from our legislators, and thank you for the legislators that have gotten some bills passed, but this is just the beginning. We still need more support, because my facility alone has a wait list of over 200. We need buildings. Like, we need you guys to open up schools and allow us to get in bigger facilities. And for goodness Lord, the city of Richmond, we need there to be a better streamlined process for us to be able to come into the city of Richmond and actually open childcare facilities, because the red tape, oh my God, it is so hard. You know, being able to open a business, not even just childcare, but to open a business in the city of Richmond. We have to do better, because parents need this support. They need the support. We will have less incidents. We will have less abuse. We will have less abandonment and neglect. We will have less facilities that are flying under the radar, unregulated, if we had more support to be able to actually train up, equip, and open up facilities in childcare deserts like Eastern Henrico, like Jackson Ward, in the north side, in the south side, in the areas where there are black and brown children that look like myself that don't have access to quality care because their parents can't afford to send them to a school like a Goddard or a school like a learning center, right? Heaven Sent Childcare is there for those parents to be able to provide, services to them, and partner with the state with subsidies so it's affordable, guys, because with inflation, we were already having issues. People were already struggling, and now we have inflation. The cost of things are going up with products, with foods, and things like that. So let's do better, here in the state of Virginia, not just Virginia, beyond in other states. We got to do better when it comes to the child care crisis. It is a crisis, and we need more help. So thank you to those legislators and those, in office that did get some funding out with us through the American Rescue Plan, was able to put some funds in a budget for us to, survive, right? But we definitely, this is just the beginning. There's more work to be done. And anyone, if you're a parent, you're an educator, and you have not heard about the Virginia Promise, please make sure that you actually go and take the promise. I'm going to make sure that I post it on the Facebook page for the Williams-Bey Radio Show, where you can go and you can take the promise. We need your support to continue advocating for our children and our families in Virginia and beyond. But again, thank you guys so much just for tuning into the show today, for allowing me to bring my team on for some transparency, because again, you guys got to know that it takes a lot to run a business, and you really guys need to know, that when you come in the facility or you see things, that may not be perfect, just know that everyone is doing their best. Like, I literally, a transparent moment for you guys, I literally had to shut down, my baby room temporarily because it was struggling, and the staff members that we had, people are really going through things. And, we lost a staff member because she was going through just some personal things, right? And with the shortage, I just couldn't do it. And, just integral and character, the best thing to do was to shut the room down, because we don't want to be operating out of order with our staff over ratio and things like that, right? And if we're having an issue in one particular room, it is okay to pivot temporarily. And I just want to encourage, any other childcare providers that are going through the same thing. It's okay. We had to temporarily pivot because we want to ensure that our staff is not overwhelmed. We want to ensure that the children that are in our care are actually safe, right? So it's okay if you have to pivot, you have to decrease your hours, you have to, shift with the age groups. It's okay. We're going to get past this. So I just want to encourage you to keep going. I want to encourage you and just say how proud I am of you for continuing to keep your doors open, for continuing to press forward, for continuing to avail yourself for the parents in our community. But again, thank you guys so much. And please make sure again that you share this broadcast, and make sure that you come on the next Friday for another episode of our Fighting Fridays with myself, the Destiny Pusher, Mrs. Cynthia Williams-Bey. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next week so we can continue pushing forward, so God can restore you and push you forward in your destiny. Have a great Friday. Thank you for tuning in to the Williams-Bey Radio Show here on Rejoice 101.3. To be a guest or to become a partner of our show, please be sure to email me at cindy@bayradioshow.com. To stay up to date with us and to catch the replay, visit us at www.bayradioshow.com. And don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms at Bey Radio Show. And again, this is your Destiny Pusher, Mrs. Cynthia Williams-Bey, and I need you to meet me back next Friday at the same time so that God can restore you and spring you forth into your destiny.